Now, preschools are an essential service in Singapore. Parents entrust their children to our preschool sector so they have peace of mind when they go to work. Some parents have alternative caregiving arrangements readily available, but many do not. And that's why they avail themselves of childcare, including full-day childcare, 12-hour service as they're at work. This includes many people at the front lines, our healthcare professionals, our GPs and the clinic assistants, hospital staff, cleaners, people in F&B, public transport workers, and many Singaporeans who, at a time like this, go to work and feel strain when they are asked to or have to take leave in order to care for their children. In fact, when we first started tightening measures in January, it's actually just 2 months ago, but for some of us it feels like a long time ago. If you recall, we put in measures and we wanted our preschools to be extra vigilant. And young children, from time to time they will pick up the cold, the flu, some may have sinuses, and in January, preschools were more careful. They told parents to take their children home, see the doctor, stay at home, and the children had symptoms of being unwell, just not feeling well. And this could include some conditions they've always had for some time. And there were some parents who were concerned, felt inconvenienced is one, but some felt they were caught between a rock and a hard place because they were needed at work, felt they wanted to work, especially if they were daily rated workers who relied on that to bring a living back home. And so for us, preschool is an important service, it's an essential service, especially for those who have no alternatives, for whom getting to work is important, for whom there are no arrangements, and for whom they are actually needed at the front lines. For some parents, they feel concerned, notwithstanding the measures that we have put in place for the preschool sector and the vulnerable sectors. They feel concerned. And although anecdotally, preschool attendance continues to be high across centres in Singapore, we have 1,900 centres run by some 400 different operators, but our anecdotal checks show that preschool attendance remains high. But nevertheless, some parents who feel very concerned about the well-being of their children, or who feel concerned and think that the whole sector ought to perhaps be shut down for this period, they have kept their children at home, or because they have alternatives, or made alternative arrangements because of their concern. We respect that, we understand that, and that is why AGDA had waived the one-day attendance requirement in each month for them to be eligible for preschool subsidies. So we actually have a requirement. You must send your child to preschool for at least a day in a month in order to avail yourself of the subsidies the government provides for preschool. And during this period, we recognize that some parents are very concerned. They would rather make alternative arrangements and have done so. They kept the children away, and we understand that. We understand that concern. And for many other parents, as I said earlier, this is essential for them to continue to be at the front lines, for them to continue to work, for them to continue to earn a wage, especially if they are daily rated. In fact, we have put in place measures to put children on leave of absence and stay-home notice, partly because of travel, partly because of their parents' travel plans, including for work. And we have parents who feel under a lot of strain when they have to keep their children away. So it's a real balance that not only AGDA, but also our preschool center operators and our frontline officers in the different centers, they've had to juggle and balance every day over and above all the measures that they have to implement in earnest to keep the preschool sector well. Now, in order for parents to feel assured that their children are well taken care of in preschool, so that they can have peace of mind when they go to work, when they operate at the front lines, we need, as a sector, to maintain the measures that are needed at this time and to uphold them to the highest standards. We owe it as a sector. The operators all know that we owe it to the parents, so the parents have that peace of mind. We all also owe it to all the teachers, because they continue to come to work knowing that they have a duty and a responsibility, and therefore for the sector as a whole, parents, children, our preschool colleagues, that the measures we put in and continue to strengthen as the situation evolves, that we remain vigilant, that we don't let slip. But I think we recognize that time is of the essence. The exercise of personal awareness and self-responsibility is vital to ensuring that our dike against the virus remains solid around the preschool sector. And some may perceive that in this particular case, some teachers who were not well, one or more teachers who were not well, ought to have left the centre immediately rather than carry on with their duties for a couple more hours. But I hope that parents, the public, and other colleagues recognize the realities on the ground and not look at it in a two-dimensional way, because I'm sure the teachers concerned, the operators, the managers, on hindsight have seen the facts, and I'm sure they will take the necessary measures hereafter and do the necessary in order to hold to account the causes of what happened. But nevertheless, this is not a time for us to pin and assign blame. The key is to make sure that we uplift and uphold the morale of the entire sector and continue to give assurance to parents. I think that's absolutely important. And this is something that needs to be sustained across all our centres, across all 400 over different operators at 1,900 preschools, because when there is an incident or a cluster like this, there will justifiably be concern by parents, especially by parents who really have no other alternative and are needed at work and at the front lines.